Hello, we're doing free HIV testing. How y'all doing? And we have condom distribution.
AIDS activist Gina Brown hopes to save a life at this New Orleans drugstore.
I got free condoms and we're doing free HIV testing. Well, come get some of these condoms. Our target population are 13 to 39-year-old Black and Latino youth, because we know that HIV is really prevalent around those younger people, especially in the MSM community.
In fact, infection rates for young African American and Latino MSM, that's men who have sex with men, are on the rise.
We're gonna go in the back.
Her first client, an African American woman.
And it's gonna be real quick.
Not quite the target.
How old are you?
But that's the least of Gina's problems. Because there's another killer out there. In 2005, the most catastrophic natural disaster in U.S. history made landfall in New Orleans. And Hurricane Katrina hit Gina's target population hard, especially those living with HIV. It cut them off from doctors, pharmacies, medication, and support.
We lost so many people from August of 2005 until, I would say, August of 2009. So many people died.
So many died of AIDS, and Gina is terrified more will die of the disease when the next hurricane hits.
And I can actually hear like some of those voices in my head. I can picture things we did, you know? And it's painful. It really is.
New Orleans is called the Big Easy because of the relaxed, easygoing lifestyle. But Bourbon Street also has a reputation for partying and casual sex. These days, HIV infection rates for young gay African Americans and Latinos are out of control.
Hello, we're doing free HIV testing.
AIDS activist Gina Brown is trying to stop the epidemic. But natural disasters like Hurricane Katrina make her job a lot tougher. Katrina cut off the most vulnerable from doctors and medication. They died of AIDS. Gina learned early that her life didn't matter that much.
Well, from the time I was 5 until I was 7, I was molested. So for a long time, it shaped me, because when it happened, I never got help for it. I never got any counseling. I'm probably the reason they have juvenile detention, but I was really a bad kid. I was a kid that was looking for attention. I can remember I would do things, and I think about it now. And if I was an educator, I would have immediately spoken to that child about some of the things that the child was doing, some of the acting out sexually that the child was doing, you know. Nobody ever took the time to say, hey, what's going on? Believe it or not, the first time I ever smoked weed, I was 9. But I didn't know it was weed. I thought it was a cigarette. Didn't graduate to anything stronger until my 20s. In my 20s, I was introduced to crack. And immediately, all of my problems, all of my worries went away. And it became my drug of choice for 2.5 years. Just being homeless, living on the street. You know, you do things that you never thought you would do. Although I had been promiscuous in my younger years, I never thought that I would trade sex for money or for drugs or for anything. You know, a place to stay. I never thought that.
By age 25, Gina had enough. She checked into a treatment center and got clean. But her problems didn't end. 2 years later, she was pregnant. A nurse asked her to do a routine HIV test, and her life changed forever.
I knew something was wrong because she wouldn't look at me. And then she took papers and she put them in the front of her face. And she said, well, Miss Brown, you have AIDS and you're gonna die. And I just collapsed in a chair and I cried. And then she got another nurse to come down and talk to me because they were doing a study called 076. And they were trying to see if a woman took a certain medication, if it could keep her baby from getting HIV.
Gina took the new medication called AZT. Months later, she gave birth to a healthy HIV-negative baby girl. After the birth of her daughter, Gina decided to give back. She got a job as a medical case manager for people with HIV/AIDS.
And as case finder, what you do is you find people who are out of care. And I love that job. But anytime I would talk to people who are living with HIV, and I said, I understand, they knew I was telling the truth.